Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I hope you all missed me. Today we're going to be doing another fanfic reading, but this time we're going to be doing a story called My New Life in Equestria by MaxBeezy. Now this story, well in general, is PG-13, does not say or do anything that's weird. It's just like a regular PG-13 movie. It's suggestive but cuts off immediately. Um, Nothing really happens until way later on in the story. Uh, this story revolves around, well, obviously, that I'm kind of just waking up, so I'm kind of on edge. Anyway, this story is really good. Max Beezy is very good at his story. I've read his entire. It's a 3-part series. Um, this particular chapter is going to be really long. Thankfully, today I have a day off, so I can read this entire chapter without any kind of issues or anything like that. I'm going to have to go through this in an hour, so it's going to be one of the longest streams I've had in a while, ever since I started the channel. I hope you guys enjoy the reading. Other people from my groups and other places will hopefully join in on the reading. If as they join in, I'll start adding like names and stuff to the dashboard and to the description too. I hope you guys all enjoy this. I'm going to be starting the reading. The first chapter is called "The Adventure Begins: The Extended Cut" by MaxBeezy. It's a funny thing, life. No matter how hard you try, you cannot seem to shape your own destiny. Take me, for example. I was Matthew Williams, a young sales rep for a video game store. It wasn't a fantastic job, as I sometimes got disgruntled. Oh, hang on. I sometimes got the disgruntled gamer, an entitled gamer that thought I ripped them off by letting them buy a Call of Duty number 556, and it turning out to be the same as the other 555 games that came before it. Sorry, I shouldn't be like just putting numbers. Um, but it was nothing I couldn't handle after some experience over the years. I never wanted that career. Truthfully, oh, I never wanted that career though. Truthfully, I always wanted to be something else. Not the stereotypical doctor or lawyer that some parents always wanted their kids to be, but more like someone in the film business. Writer, director, actor. Name any big career in the industry, chances are I would have liked to be a part of it. Maybe not body double. I don't think anyone would have wanted to see me buck ass nude. I spent 4 years at film school. I packed to the brim with those snobbish, holier than thou students that think their turds don't stink. You know the kinds. The ones that think the latest Hollywood event films is the work of the devil, while the latest pretentious sense of lacking art films was the greatest thing since sliced bread. No matter how hard I tried, no matter how hard I tried getting in, it didn't seem to pan out for me. However, somehow, my ability to verbally stimulate the people I'm talking to got me a job as a salesman, and I've been doing it for the past 4 years. I made money, good money, enough to move out of the house and live in a distant apartment complex in New York City, with pleasant neighbors and a quiet atmosphere. I still send out query letters here and there, but hopes were all but slim at this point in time. As you might have noticed, I found the time to write now. Why? Well, it all started a couple months ago, when I met a group of unexpected guests. It was a cold night in Central Park. I always liked to walk around when I was upset about something. This something was a bad day at the store, where my boss railed me about quotas being down. It was a bunch of math, sorry, I can't make big words work. Mathematical garbage that I'm sure you wouldn't want be interested in. But it was enough to get me in the sour mood. I wish I could have just walked in and quit the next day, and continue my dream of being a Hollywood big shot. but the money was keeping me nice and afloat. So I just sighed to myself and went on a walk. I was ready to turn back and head for my apartment when the sky became unusually cloudy. The winds were picking up, enough for me to struggle to keep my footing. Thunder and lightning flashed through the sky. I was scared. Above me, the sky opened. It was like a portal to another dimension. My mouth was agape. This is the kind of thing one would see in movies or comic books. But there I was, standing underneath a portal to some old kind of alternate universe. On retrospect, I probably should have moved to the side a little bit. 6 dark figures fell out of the portal, right on top of me. It hurt like hell, and I wasn't too pleased of having my bad day end with me getting crushed. If I was going to die like this, it would have been my least preferred method of death. Now, getting run over by an out of control semi truck driven by the Incredible Hulk, that would have been awesome. Okay, hang on, I was reading ahead. Ouch! What in the hay just happened? One said. The voice was definitely female, with a strong yet comprehensible southern accent. I'm sorry, another said. That spell's stronger than I thought. Wait. Well, no. Okay. I had to really read because I have to assume. Well, now look what you did, darling. You transported us to Manhattan. Manhattan? What the? I thought. Then they all started talking at once. The first thing I noticed that everyone on top of me was female, since every voice above me had a feminine tone to it. The second was that they were heavy, and that I thought their shoes were so hard that it felt like I was being assaulted by hooves. Get off me! I yelled. Oh, I cracked. Get off me! I yelled. As much as the next guy would have been ecstatic to be dogpiled by a bunch of women, I'm not that guy. It went quite quick. Oh my gosh, are we on some pony? Some pony? That was something I never heard in my life. I felt the body sliding off me, and I was finally able to breathe normally. I'm so sorry, Her voice stopped, followed by all 6 voices screeching in terror. It was grating to hear. I put my hands to my ears to muffle the sounds. Ah! What's with the screaming? Sorry, I can't really yell. I'm in a not really condensed room here. I stand up and looked at my body. It looked fine. No immediate injuries or broken bones sticking out of me, though I was sure I would wake up with some nasty bruises the next day. I looked straight to talk to these screeching women when I found myself staring directly at 6 4-foot-tall ponies of various colors, screaming at me. On instinct of seeing these things not normal, I screamed too. The screaming seemed to go on forever, to the point where I almost fainted. But before I could, though, I was suddenly struck in the face by the back hooves of one of the ponies, who was wearing a cowboy hat. I hit the ground harder than a sack of potatoes. Applejack, I heard one say, as I fought to remain unconscious. Why did you do that? It was screaming. I had to shut him up, she said in that southern drawl I heard earlier. So were we. Well, one of us had to stop. As I opened my eyes, I saw them all looking down at me with worried eyes. They might have been frightened of me not 5 seconds ago, but now they looked like they just killed me. A collection of words came out of my mouth. None formed a comprehensible sentence. The ponies looked at me, confused. Finally, I was able to say, What the hell are you? Not exactly the best choice of words. I could ask you the same thing, the lavender one said. There's nothing in the books that talk about creatures like you. I know I'm not sure what kind of books you've been reading, but I have plenty. I sit up, rubbing my head, as I look at all the ponies surrounding me. There's a white one, a yellow one, a pink one, a lavender one, and aforementioned orange one, a blue one with rainbow tail, mane and tail. Excuse me. They all looked they all looked as if they stepped out of a computer, bright and colorful, with two-dimensional flair to them, but definitely three-dimensional when one would look around to inspect them. The pink one hops close to me, leans toward me, meeting me eye to eye. She began to circle around me, looking at every inch of me. She was so close. I smelled the aroma of cotton candy from her hair. I was suddenly in the mood for cotton candy at that point. Well, I'm stumped, she said, hopping back to the group. Wherever we are, wherever we are, one thing's for certain. We're not in Equestria anymore, the lavender one said. Come on. Oh, come on. Let's go find a place to sleep. It's dreadful out here. The white one said, the white colored one. Sorry for falling on you, a particularly shy pony said. I watched as they all walked away from me. Oh, no. I watched as they all started to walk away. When, against my better judgment, I said something that changed the course of my life forever. Wait! They all looked back at me. They all looked at me at the same time with great curiosity. Even in my confused state, I found that kind of cute. I live in an apartment just a couple blocks from here. I paused. I could have turned back at the last minute, but somehow I just couldn't. I sighed before continuing my request. You can stay with me if you like. They kept looking at me, blinking every once in a while. Are you sure? Lavender said. Since she talked the most, I was certain that she was the leader of the group. Yeah, it's fine. There's plenty of room, and it's nice and warm. If you asked me then, I wouldn't have any idea what to tell you about why I took them in. I realized later on that deep down, I felt like I had an obligation to take care of them. Who knows what would happen if I left them out there in the world? New York isn't exactly Disneyland, and they could have gotten into all sorts of trouble with some of the locals. I didn't want to think about that. After a short while of the things conversing, they agreed to come with me. The journey to my apartment wasn't all that eventful. Being so late at night, the amount of civilians in my neighborhood was slim. It wasn't a clear passage, though. Some homeless people freaked out, scaring the couple of the ponies, but I escorted them away from the babbling kooks. Sorry, I'm checking if one of my friends is going to join soon. Soon we made it to my apartment complex. The ponies marveled at how tall it was. Okay, sorry, I needed to read ahead again just to see who it was. Wow. God, I'm sorry. Wow, this place sure does remind me of Manhattan back in Equestria, said the southern one. Almost a perfect match, if just like you said. Sorry. I raised my eyebrow. Oh no, a bus. I'm sorry, the bus. I'm sorry about the bus. There's a bus outside. There's a bus that passes by. Hang on, I'll wait for it to pass so you can hear me. Alright, it's going for the most part. I raised my eyebrow. That name again. I'm sorry, Manhattan? She smiled at me. Yes, sir. We also call it the Big Apple. What a coincidence. We call it the Big Apple, too, I said with a smirk. Really? She said excitedly. I think I like this place already. I walked into the lobby, making the ponies wait outside. I don't want to give the man at the front desk a heart attack just yet. Hello, Mr. Williams. Hang on, I'm going to change his voice a little bit. I'm going to make I'm gonna try my best to do a Brooklyn accent. Please forgive me for anyone who is from Brooklyn. I do not mean to insult. I am horrible at Brooklyn accent. No, I'm not gonna try Brooklyn accent. I'm gonna try something else. Okay. Hello, Mr. Williams. He said. He said, "It may have been a middle-class apartment, but this guy treated his tenants like high-class superstars." Hey, Bob. I have a question. Do you still allow pets in here? Of course, as long as they're quiet and won't cause any problems. The, as long as they're quiet, there won't be any problems. Okay, just letting you know, they aren't normal pets, so don't freak out. Why? Are they tigers or something? He joked. I called the girls in. Bob's mouth opens wide as the six of them were revealed to him. Sorry. Um, they all greeted him with a great deal of proper etiquette and respectfulness. That's, I know, crazy, right? They're only going to be here for a little bit, but Bob, he wasn't paying attention in the slightest. I pointed in his direction. I pointed his direction back to me. Bob, I need you to listen, I said sternly. Under no circumstances can you tell anyone about this, okay? No offense, Mr. Williams, but that's going to be hard to hide. He had a point. If they wanted to go outside, I couldn't just leave them shacked up for however long, but just for the time being, okay? I replied. Bob looked at me. Then, it's a weird ass name for. I'm giving him a proper English accent, and his name is just so simple. But I'm sorry, I don't have any other ideas. Bob looked at me, and then back at this still smiling ponies, then back at me. He nodded in compliance. I walked to the elevator where all six were waiting. I realized the elevator wouldn't move when I was inside, weight limit and all, so I took the stairs. When I got to the sixth floor, the ponies were freaking out about the elevator. They told me that elevators were a rarity where they came from. Only the big cities of their world had elevators, while their small towns was more inclined to use stairs. The moment I unlocked the door to my apartment, the ponies came rushing in, pushing past me to get inside. They reveled in the warmness that it was producing. Most laid out on the couches, the pink one ran into my room and started jumping on the bed excitedly, and the lavender one started searching through my shelf full of books. Hey! I said. They all looked at me simultaneously. Second time they did it today, and I don't think I would ever get sick of it. It's really late. We can't have any noise at this time, okay? I have plenty of blankets if anyone wants some. There's a shower in the bathroom and some food in the fridge. Are there any questions? The shy one raised a hoof. What's a what, what's a shower? I paused. They don't know what showers are? Surely they have baths where they came from. How else could they look so clean and smell of plants, fruits, and candy? Wait a minute. Okay. Good night. I turned to walk away. When a realization dawned on me, I had no freaking clue what any of them were called. I turned back in a hurried pace. I'm sorry. Names. I forgot about names. I'm Matt, and you are. The lavender one went first. I'm Twilight Sparkle. The only thought that raced through my head was those god awful books. It took my all not to bring it up to her. Seriously, it was bad enough hearing Twilight, but Sparkle, as in sparkling vampires. I bet if anyone heard that name, they would think the exact same thing. I couldn't have been alone in this. The rest, the rest were less troubling. The pink one called herself Pinkie Pie. This other one was called Applejack. The white one Rarity. The rainbow-haired one Rainbow Dash, and finally, I'm Fluttershy. The yellow one said the yellow one. My reaction was as expected. What? She replied again, but when it got to her name, she trailed off. Only after a bit did Twilight tell me her full name, Fluttershy. Somehow it fit well. I couldn't imagine the reason why. When introductions were done, I went straight to getting ready for bed. After giving my few house guests some blankets and getting Pinkie Pie off my bed, of course, I watched them all gather in my living room, circling around to find a comfortable spot and fall right to sleep. With the greetings of the night behind me, I also went to bed and dozed off rather quickly. Oh, I'm actually reading it a lot faster than I thought I was. Considering that there were now 6 ponies in my place, I slept rather well last night. Well, that night. Waking up, however, was a different story entirely. It was 8:30 in the morning, and I felt a heavy weight on my chest. Okay, I opened my eyes to see Twilight's forelegs on me, laying laying on the bed, staring right at me. Naturally, I jumped back, hitting my head on the wall hard. Ah, Jesus! I shouted. No, it's Twilight. Who's Jesus? I opened my mouth to speak, but whatever was going to come out would have been futile. I closed it back up. Never mind. I said. I said, what's going on? Take me to your library, she demanded, standing up on all fours. The books you have aren't what I want. Though I understood the books about 1,000 video games to play before Though I understood that books about 1,000 video games to play before death and girls with tattoos of dragons on their backs wouldn't exactly open up portals, I thought of what I said to Bob last night. I don't think libraries allow animals in their facilities. I said, trying to get her to stay in the apartment. What books do you need? I'll go get them for you. Twilight sat down on the bed like a dog. It was kind of adorable. Well, I need Equestra's Guide to Magic, the Big Book of Unicorn Spells, Dimensional Portals, and you. I stopped her before she could go on. Forget it. You're coming with me. She happily jumped off the bed. Great, let's go. The other ponies were still asleep. I felt a little guilty about my slight yell earlier, but they didn't seem to hear me. Sorry. Walking along the sidewalk with Twilight was one of the stranger experiences I have had during the course of my existence. Everyone did I'm really messing this up right now. Walking along with Twilight was one of the stranger experiences I had during the course of my existence. Everyone did a double take at her, took pictures with their camera phones, and even managed to stop traffic, with a few dented bumpers in the process. Nothing at all serious, depending on the car. Twilight looked at all their faces and turned back to me. What are they looking at me like that for? I looked at her with a raised eyebrow. I knew what she meant, and hung her. I looked at her with a raised eyebrow. She knew what I meant and hung her head down. Oh, right. The walk was pretty silent, mostly looking at pedestrians. Sorry. The walker was pretty silent, mostly looking at the pedestrians looking at us, and the children were attempting to run up to her for some petting, but their parents dragging them away. I decided to break the ice. So, I started off with, how did you get here? Well, I wanted to prove to Spike that travel between locations was possible. I'm sorry. I know, like it was dimensions, but like I read locations as dimensions. Oh no. Spike? I asked. He's my dragon assistant. I put a note in my head to ask her about that later. Right now, an explanation about her arrival was more important. Anyway, well, anyway, my plan was to go to Ponyville to Applewood within seconds. With a magical portal, I was using while using more than one pony to do it. The spell worked, but we were sucked in, and we ended up here. Do you remember the spell that brought you here? Of course, but it takes a lot of magic, and I'm currently spent right now. It'll be a while before I can make a spell like that again. Then why do you need books about portals and stuff? To be sure if when I try the spell again, we'll go back to our world and not in some dangerous alien dimension. I don't know. You're in a pretty dangerous alien dimension right now, I joked. Well, it's a joking sentence. I don't know. You're in a pretty dangerous alien dimension right now, I joked. You seem alright to me, she said with a grin. We made it to the library. The moment we walked in, we were stopped by security. He looked at Twilight with the same kind of reaction as everyone else, and then looked at me. You could not bring... I'm trying really hard, I'm sorry. You cannot bring these animals in here. Okay, I'm gonna give him a guard voice. Okay, I'm gonna try my best. You cannot bring... horrible. You cannot bring animals in here. Your horse stays outside. Oh, I'm sorry. Read ahead. Oh, I'm sorry, sir, Twilight said innocently. The guard practically had a heart attack when she spoke. We'll only be inside for a few moments. I won't be any trouble. I'm very careful with things, and I promise I won't make a mess. The guard didn't say anything. I'm sure whatever was going to come out of his mouth would be a series of expletives, I want to say, followed by death. Surprisingly, Twilight's plea worked, and he let us in. I watched as Twilight trotted through the library, looking at book after book that would even vaguely have what she would be looking for. The other guests looked at her. I'm sorry. Okay. I watched as Twilight trotted through the library, looking at book after book that would even vaguely have what she would be looking for. The other guests looked at her, either sheer terror or wide-eyed curiosity. When they would look at me, I would simply shrug my shoulders, behaving like this was a normal occurrence in my daily life. The lavender-colored bookworm became increasingly irritated after each book proving to be unfruitful with information. Hours have passed, and we have barely cut through half of the massive library. After more sitting around, checking the internet as I left Twilight to do her thing, I got bored. Where was I? I lost my train of thought here. I got bored as she got more impatient. By the time she read the last book, cars. By the time she read the last book that would give a possible answer, she threw it up in the air, angrily sighing. This was met by a nearby librarian shushing loudly, silencing the upset pony. Twilight sat on the floor, looking down. While I would not normally want to pry into an upset person, in this case, Pony's business, since she was under my care, I had to know she was all right. Hey, I said, in a caring tone of voice. What's the matter? None of your books have what I am looking for, she silently said, disappointment filling her voice. All I can find in this place that remotely relates magic are 7 books that are unnaturally hairy and about an unnaturally hairy gardener. Well, you don't need the books anyway. Just use the spell when you're ready. But what if I mess up? What if I do this spell and we're launched in some other weird alternate dimension? No offense. I don't know. Maybe we're in the only two dimensions that exists, and you'll just go back to your own world. Ha! Twilight laughs. Only two dimensions. You're funny. I'm just trying to remain optimistic, Twilight, I told her. Besides, you never know. I look back at all the people still staring at us. A large crowd was a large crowd had formed around us. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Around us, nearly blocking our exit from the library. I think we should go back to the apartment. I'm getting a little uncomfortable here. She sees what I'm looking at and soon agrees. When we leave the library, a massive army of citizens, police, and animal control officers are standing in the front, ready to take Twilight away. The police captain, one of the gruff, no take no prisoners type with a scraggly beard, pulls out a megaphone, shouting it like one would expect a person of his type would. Okay, this is the New York City Police. That thing is a potentially dangerous extraterrestrial. We must bring it in for study. Hey, I am not an extraterrestrial. We're taking the pony girl. We're taking the girl pony thing next to you, son. Not. Oh, okay. Hey, I am not an extraterrestrial. We're talking about the girl pony thing next to you, son, not you. Oh, well, I put a hand on her shoulder. You can't have her. She's just trying to get back home. We've lost him. She's taken over his mind. One random scientist yells out. The hell are you talking about? Do I look like I've been... Oh, hang on. What the hell are you talking about? I scream back. Do I look like I've been brainwashed? Don't listen to him. He's trying to fool us. To hell with this. I grab Twilight and... I grab Twilight, and like a Peterbilt truck, I ram through the crowd of people, clearing a path to get home. I hear sirens blaring and people running. I continue to hold onto Twilight's hoof, looking at her. She had an expression of fright. It's okay, Twilight. Just a couple more blocks. We'll never make it. Of course we will. No, we'll find out where you live and we'll storm the place. Then we'll never find a way home. What do you suggest we do? Hold me. Now's not the time to get sappy, Twi. No, hold me. I screeched to a halt, kneel down, and hold on to her for dear life. Suddenly, all I could see was a bright flash of light. Poof! I'm gonna do the Markiplier. Poof! With another flash, I opened my eyes to see that we were back in the lobby of my apartment. Bob had looked a great shock and awe on his face. He never looked at me like that before, the poor guy. I'm surprised he managed to keep it together and not ratted me out to the police. He really was a nice guy. Hey, Bob. Mr. Williams? He said, glances up at the floor where my room was. What's the matter? It appears your friends made a few orders while you were away. What kind of orders? Lots of fruits and vegetables. I opened my mouth to speak, but he stopped me before I could. Don't worry, I signed for the order myself. You didn't see them. You didn't pay for it, did you? No, your friends had a good bit of money on them. Money? Money? Twilight wonders. But we used bits. I looked over at Twilight, and we went upstairs to my room. Upon entering, I saw the 5 ponies we left, making all kinds of food for the vegetarian lovers. Salads, meatless sandwiches, even pita rolls. Pinkie Pie was at the oven baking what looked to be a cake, while Applejack was preparing an apple pie. This would all be very impressive, but Where did you get the money for this? I asked. They all looked at me with surprise at Twilight and I's arrival. You're back! Pinky, sorry. You're back! Twilight said happily. Pinky said happily. Just in time, too. You're about to make dessert. You didn't answer my question, I said more sternly. Oh, well, you see, Verity said, we didn't have any bits on us, but we did find a box under your bed that had more than enough. My eyes go nearly bloodshot, as I know exactly what they're talking about. Instead of responding to them, I ran to my room to find the box they mentioned. There it was, on my bed, opened up. I counted whatever was left over. They took over a quarter of what was in it. I walked back out, looking at everybody with disdain. You took my money without permission? Don't worry, darling. It was only a little bit. Verity tried to assure me. It wasn't working. A little bit? I've been saving this money for something important for the past few years. For something very important for the past few years, and you just took 8 months worth right out of it in seconds. Didn't any of you read the note on top of it? Did any of you read the note at the top? I flipped the top of the box to them, to see the note. Don't touch. Why do you have a note when no pony else lives here? Rainbow Dash inquired. Well, that was a good question. I wasn't planning to live being alone all my life, I quietly said. Oh, wait, no, he said it quiet. I wasn't planning on being alone all my life, I quietly said. But that's not the point. If you wanted the money, you could have just asked, and even then I wouldn't have given you this. You weren't here, so we had no choice. God! I stopped what I was about to say. Eventually, I stormed back to my room, slammed the door shut before any of them could react to my temper tantrum. I slumped into my bed, looking up at the ceiling. Carefully, I put the box back under my bed before running my hands through my hair in frustration. Seconds passed, and I heard the door open, and hoofsteps coming into the room. I continued to look at the ceiling, not paying much mind to whoever tried it in. You alright, Sugar Cube? I heard Applejack ask. I will be. Eventually. I replied, still not looking. May I ask what all that money was for? You'll probably laugh at me. I wouldn't do that. I promise. I sighed. It was for a trip. What kind of trip? A trip to everywhere, actually. I always wanted to see the world, and I was saving all that money to do so. Now I can only go as far as China if I'm lucky. I'm sorry we did that. I read the sign. I told them not to touch it, but don't worry about it. What's done is done. I just needed the time to calm down before I said things that I would have regretted. I've been there. My sister can sometimes be a real pain down at the farm, but sometimes I say things that shouldn't have said. I feel terrible when I do, but I've learned to keep calm and level-headed. You work at a farm? I asked. Yep, Sweet Apple Acres is the name. We have the finest darn apples in Equestria. Hang on, 1 second. Looking through my messages here. There's nothing. Okay. She exclaimed proudly. Sounds nice, I admitted. Not wanting to look at the ceiling anymore, I turned to Applejack. Somehow seeing her smiling face cheered me up, if only just a little bit. So, what did you make? I asked. Well, the girls made salads and stuff. Your fridge was filled with meat, which was kind of disturbing. It's not ponies, I swear. I figured as much. Your cookbook never mentioned pony meat. Anyway, I made an apple pie. It's my specialty. Apple pie, huh? Sorry, I need to make pauses more longer. Apple pie, huh? This piqued my interest. Sounds delicious. Well, come on over if you're. Well, come on over. You're in for a mighty treat. I followed her back out, where the other five were sitting down, ready to eat. They looked at me, upset that they made me mad. Instead of following through with some long drawn out apology, that would have probably ended up being a rambling mess of words that somehow formed a sentence, I simply smirked and sat down with them. They understood that I was no longer mad at them and went back to having those smiling faces. The meal that followed was unconventional, at least for me. I'm not exactly a salad kind of guy, though I didn't 100% reject the idea of salads. Normally, a burger or even a Hot Pocket would constitute my meals, especially if I was extremely lazy. I didn't feel like making anything extravagant. The food that these equines made, however, was rather good. Whatever they bought the best. I assumed that they were very picky on their choice of food and only settled for the sweetest and tastiest kind. I was so stuffed I barely had any room for that apple pie, but somehow I gulped it down. I didn't have such a dessert in a while, but the moment it hit my tongue, I was in pure heavenly bliss. It was the easiest, best. It was easily the best pie I had in a long time, in a long, long while. Pinkie Pie had also made a cake, but it was devoured by the others before I could take a bite. Ring, ring. My cell phone blared at a catchy tune, scaring every pony in the room. Ah, oh, ah, run for it! Fluttershy ducked under the table. Relax, it's just my phone, I say. I look at the caller ID, sighing out who it is. Great, I answer. Hey guys, what the hell is going on over there? It's my dad. He's none too happy. What do you mean, Dad? You're all over the news with some kind of purple creature. Really? I turn on the television. Sure enough, the old man was right. I see myself barreling through the crowd of people with Twilight in tow. That's really cool. No, it's not cool. Your mother is worried sick, and neighbors are coming to our door and asking if you had any psychological problems. Well, that's just none of their business, wouldn't you say? I chuckled. Oh, hang on, I have to be all jokey, Matt. Well, that's just none of their business, wouldn't you say? I chuckled. Damn it, Matt, this is serious. I know, Dad. They're just visiting. They? How many of those things are you hiding? 6. 6? I can hear him nearly going into shock. You have 6 of those things in your apartment? They're ponies, Dad. Talking animated ponies from another dimension. They aren't things. It's only going to be for a little while, okay? He sighs angrily into the phone. Some part of me knows he's just rubbing his eyelids in frustration. I don't know. I don't blame him. Sorry. I don't blame him. Who else could say that they have a son that is harboring 6 ponies in his apartment? I'm actually amazed he managed to pull himself together after I said such a ridiculous thing. We are just concerned about you, son. Concerned, son. Are you in some kind of trouble? No, Dad. I'm not running with some kind of gang. I don't have a police record. At least, I didn't have a police record. But you just have to trust me on this, okay? You're not going to tell anyone where I live, right? No, of course not. Okay then. Just be careful, okay? I know the voices of the dad and the son kind of sound the same, but I don't know what to give the dad. I can make him sound a little bit older, maybe, but just a little bit. I will, Dad. Just tell Mom not to worry, and that I love her, and that I'll see her soon. Okay. I love you, son. Love you too, Dad. I hang up the phone. I see all the ponies looking at me, wondering what was going on at the other end. What was going on at the other end of the conversation? I smile and gather the plates to the sink. I clean the dishes myself, despite the insistence of the others that said that they could help. I wanted to make up for my slight outburst and do something nice for them. As I got ready for bed, though though most days was filled with mild disappointment along with some major disappointment, it ended up more pleasantly than I anticipated. Excuse me. Twilight didn't seem to Twilight didn't tell me when her magic will return, but somehow I hope it's not too soon. I was kind of enjoying their company. It's only halfway. Someone help. Morning came, and it was Monday. It was a work day. When I first started my job, I had to set the alarm for the time to go and get ready. Hang on, 1 second. 1 second, hang on. Sorry, everyone. I had to go turn on my AC because it was starting to get really hot. And if you hear crunching right now, I'm gonna eat me a chip because right now I'm getting hungry and I haven't eaten since my job. So, excuse me. I'm sorry. Okay, I just need one chip to get me going. I will not be eating on any more of these live streams, and I'll be eating before our live stream starts. I promise. This is my first time. This is why it's called testing the waters. Morning came, and it was Monday. It was a work day when I first started my. It was a work day. When I first started my job, I had to set the alarm for the time to go and get ready. I've been working at this job for so long now that there's no need to set the alarm. There's no need to set the clock every night before sleeping. Even on days where I didn't work, I would find myself waking up at the exact hour. This time, I was extra quiet, so I wouldn't wake up the others. I took my shower, brushed my teeth, and had a small breakfast. There were a few fresh apples in the fridge, so I took one on my way out the door. As I stood in the elevator eating my apple, holy crap, that apple was delicious. I thought it was a little rude of myself not to leave a note where I was headed. I made a mental note to call them when I got to work and leave a message if need be. The elevator doors opened, and I nearly jumped back in shock to see Pinkie Pie on the other side looking at me with a wide smile. "Hi," she said cheerfully. "Ah," I yelped. "Pinkie, how'd you get down here so fast?" "The stairs, silly. And I got here well before you did." The average time in the elevator without any extra stops was about 20 seconds. I timed myself once when using the stairs, and it would take a little over a minute to get down to the lobby. How the heck did you get down here well before I did? And without tripping yourself, too? I shook my head, and there was no time to question the logic-breaking activities of this creature. What are you doing down here anyway?" I asked. "You should be asleep with the others." "I could ask you the same thing, Mr. Early Bird. I have to go to work, and I was going to leave a message when I got there." "Ooh, work? As in a job?" she said curiously. "What do you do? Is it hard? Can I come with?" I could have said no. Thinking about it now, I should have said no. But Even when cutting through the excuse me, but even when cutting through the park, it would take me 30 minutes to get to work, even longer now. After the events of yesterday, I had no more time to waste. To my great regret, I motioned the pink pony to come with me, and she followed me out the door with a series of hops. Oh my god, I jumped. Hold on. Alright, here we go. I snuck around the park, avoiding unnecessary risk. There is usually police all over the place, even in the park as nice as the one I crossed. Sorry. Where are we going? I shouldn't say so. Where are we going? Asked Pinky quietly. I drew some unwanted attention yesterday with Twilight. I'm trying to avoid it with you. Ah, okay. Stealth mode activated. She kicks into high gear, sneaking around the area, looking for a clear path for me to cross. She was fast, faster than I anticipated a pony such as her would be. She ducked and dived through the bushes, through looking around for any patrols. She popped up out of the bush by the exit, waving me on to follow. I was, shall we say, less than graceful. Any attempt to be as sneaky as her resulted in me falling on my face or ass. Still, I somehow managed to make it to her in one piece. I spotted an alleyway, one that would usually duck into if I spotted an alleyway, one that I would usually duck into if I was afraid of running late. The two of us dive inside and usually go back to normal walking stances. So, what do you do? She reiterated her question as she walked through the alley. I sell video games. Well, I'm one of many people who sell video games. Video games? You mean those big boxes with joysticks? How do you expect I mean, people to take those home? You might be thinking of arcade machines, Pinky. I corrected her. We don't sell those. Video games are with these somewhat small electronic systems that you can attach to televisions. Much more practical than those unwielding, wieldy? Okay. I'm gonna just weldy arcade machines. I see, she said, still not understanding the idea of it. What are televisions anyway? They're electronic boxes which show different programs. It's sort of like an alternative to books. An alternative to books? Who wouldn't want to read a book? You sound like Twilight. I chuckled. After a while of trying to explain television to Pinky, oh my god, hang on one second. What didn't I like prepare myself for this? I didn't think I'd need to be like all prepared for something. Oh, I need something to drink. I'm gonna have to read this faster. Where was I? Okay. After a while of trying to explain television to Pinky, we made it to my work. It took me a while. It took me a while to remember this sign plastered outside the door, stating "No pets allowed," right next to the sign that refuses solicitations and food consumers. I couldn't just shoo her away, especially when there was no pony else. Did I just type that? To escort her home. Even then, I wouldn't trust her. I wouldn't trust two ponies that were still unfamiliar with the city to navigate back to my house. I hadn't been written up by my boss, so I guess there's a first time for everything. I hope I hope that he would be a little bit more lenient, considering that she can talk and from a semi coherent and that she can talk and form a semi coherent thought, and also animated. The store could use a mascot. That would have been great. I hate these people. I hate people that do that. Okay. Um. All right. Okay. Where was I? All right. Here we go. We entered the store at the same time. Thank God for double doors, and to be greeted by my boss. He was Jason, a middle-aged man who looked like he had stick up his ass for decades. I had no idea how he came to run the establishment. Maybe he started out like me and worked his way up. He didn't even look like he knew what video games were, much less play them. I think he only was there to sell, rather than talk about the latest Halo or Resident Evil with customers. The moment he saw Pinky, his eyes furrowed in anger. Matt! Oh, hang on. Matt! He yelled. What the hell is going on with you, boy? You're all over the news, and what's this colorful animal doing in my store? Sir, this is a friend of mine. Her name is Pinkie Pie, and why are you friends with animals? Last I checked, animals don't talk. I do, Pinky explained, hopping right in front of me and right in Jason's face. The look on him was priceless. What the shit? He he screamed. She talked. How can she do that? Can the other one on TV do that? Yes, we can. She proudly stated. I just want you to know that I'll do my best not to be a nuisance and help in any way possible, okay? He stared at her, then back at me, then back at her, then back at me. I think it went on for a couple of minutes until, keep an eye on her, he harumphed. Make sure she doesn't shit everywhere. He walked into his office and shut the door. I just knew he was watching us on the monitor in that office. I've seen it before with other employees. What shit? She turned back to me. Feces. I, I said with a deadpan voice. Ew, I would never do that. We have bathrooms in Equestria. What does he think I am? Oh, right. Yeah, the horses and ponies of this world frequently drop their excrement wherever they please. Gross! I'm glad I'm not like that. Me too. I laughed. I just hope he doesn't call the police. I explained to her the rules of the store and to stay my side at all times. She was adamant about waking up. She was adamant about walking up to people on the sales floor to help them, but I tried to tell her that I didn't want to scare them away. She nodded as she understood me and took it, but deep in my brain, I had a feeling that she wasn't going to listen. The first customer walked in. Hi! She yelled. The first customer fled in fear. Hold up. The first customer fled in fear. I hope he doesn't call the cops either. I'm sorry, she told me. I think I came a little too strong. It's okay, I assured her. Let me do the talking, and if they're curious, try not to be so startling. She nodded. The next customer walked in. Pinky didn't say a word. Just like she promised. Within minutes, the customer found what she was looking for and came to me. As we were making the transaction, her eyes fell on on the pink pony at my side. Cute standy, she said. Is that for a new game coming out? Actually, this is a friend of mine. Her name is Pinkie Pie. Say hi, Pinky. Hello, she said, with much less enthusiasm as she did with the first customer, but still unmistakably happy. Whoa! Her eyes go huge. That's awesome. Where'd you get her? It's a long story, I told her. She's from out of town, so it's only for a little while. She's so cute. I couldn't dispute that. Can I pet her? I looked at Pinky for permission. She allowed it. The customer patted Pinky on the mane. She was happy to receive it. She then left with her purchase with a smile on her face. So far, so good. I congratulated Pinky on the job well done. The next few hours slowly but surely started to degenerate into something less pleasant. It was becoming busier by the minute, and my boss wasn't coming out of it to help, the lazy bastard. And the second employee called in sick. Pinky wanted to help, I could see that look in her eye, but I pleaded with her not to go out on the floor. It was headed for the afternoon, and it was reaching a fever pitch. I was going to I was going through transactions like hotcakes. I hoped Jason would double my pay for this debacle that was happening. Pinky couldn't take it anymore. She brushed past me, hopping off the table onto the sales floor. She wa- onto the sales floor. She walked around asking if they needed help. They predictably shrieked in fear and came running out of the door. Somehow I got easily frightened customers that day. As each potential sale made their way out the door, the more I became frustrated with Pinky. I knew she meant well, but I gave her direct orders. I knew my boss wouldn't like that, and he didn't. When the crowds died down, he came exploding out of his office like the stereotypical action movie hero. But instead of Bruce Willis, I got a guy with a bald spot and a beer gut. What the hell? Look what she did. She scared half of the store with the shit she pulled. I'm sorry, sir. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. It won't happen again. I looked at Picky sternly. It better not. One more slip up and you're fired. Fired? I queried. I haven't been written up once during my 4 years here. I should have fired you on the spot for bringing her in the first place. But I'm in a good mood today. Sure didn't look like it. You better watch yourself for the rest of the day. He went barreling back into his office. Pinky, I said with seriousness. I told you to stay with me. I had to do something. You look so busy. I know. Don't worry about it. I've dealt with crowds like this all the time. Just stay here, okay? Okie dokie Loki, she said. The next hour seemed to get better. Customers were curious about her and got surprised when she spoke. Luckily, it was a nice surprise, as they were taken by her bubbly personality. Everything seemed to be looking up. But then, at the end of my shift approached, Pinky spotted a customer heading to the door with a game box in his hand. Thief! She shouted, jumping away from me and straight for the man. She knocked over a few displays and racks of games to get to him before tackling him to the floor. Pinky! You wasn't stealing anything! I yelled. Sorry, it was supposed to be before that. Pinky! I yelled. You wasn't stealing anything! Yes, he was! She said with determination. He was about to walk out the door when I caught him. He's a regular here, Pinky. Even if he was stealing, there was no game in the box. I took the box from the customer and opened it up for her. As she was staring, he crawled from underneath her and ran out the door. On cue, my boss came storming out. Look at this place! It's a mess! I'm sorry, I said quickly. It was just a misunderstanding. She wrecked my store. Clean this mess up now. Yes, sir. And when you're done, get out of here. You're fired. My jaw dropped from my head. I could have argued with him, but he once fired a guy for putting a soda on the front desk. There was no use. I cleaned up the mess. Pinky tried to help, but I didn't acknowledge it. I should have never brought her with me. I should have just told her to go with the others and wait for me to come back. How could I have been so stupid? We got through the park like normal. Pinky slowly trotted behind me. I'm sorry, she said. This was the millionth time she said it. Slight exaggeration, I know, but I responded to her the same way, with silence. Are you mad at me? What followed was something I should have never done. I paused, as my eyes were filled with rage at that question. Mad? I said. I'm not mad. I'm furious! I turned to her, getting red in her face. You got me fired! I said I was sorry, she said timidly. Sorry I didn't get my job back, I screamed at her. I had a good job. Sure, the boss was a pile of waste, but a good job. It got me paid and it got me good money. Now it's gone. You just use the money under the bed. You don't get it, do you? I was saving that money. This job was supposed to help me pay for with other expenses. No job, no money. Now I have to cut through my savings just so I can get by before I find a new line of work. And who knows how long that's going to be? With the way the economy is going, I how is spending a couple of days with you ponies ruin my life so quickly? I can't wait till Twilight gets her powers back, so I just so I don't have to see any of you anymore. How can you and all and you can all be gone from my life forever? I was done. Pinky was frozen solid. I sighed and turned to keep on walking, but the sound of sniffling caught my attention fast. I turned back. I turned back around to see her once poofy hair had deflated into the long, straight streaks. Uh, what's with your hair? I asked. It, it gets like that when I'm sad, she said, between sniffles. I realized what I had done. I'd screwed up. Bad. Oh no. I said under my breath. No, 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 no. I leaned down to her level. Pinky, I need you not to cry right now, okay? You you hate us, she sobbed. You want us gone. I looked around and saw people looking right at us. Most were looking at me, right at me, judging me for what I had said to the innocent creature. The other had taken out the camera recording us. The weight of my words brought my heart crashing to the ground below, and all that was there now was a dark void of regret. Pinky, I began to tear up. Please don't cry. I don't do well with crying. I was just trying to help, she cries. I didn't mean to be a burden. I know, and I'm grateful, but then why are you mad? Why are you so mad? I didn't know that man wasn't stealing. How could I have known that? You didn't tell me. I messed up. I realized that. And now you hate me. You hate all of us. You just want I just wanted you to be happy and have a good day. She sobs hard. Those genuine little eyes were piercing my very soul. I didn't know what to do, what to say. Then, oh, to hell with it, I said. I wrapped my arms around her. In the blink of an eye, her crying stopped instantly. I never hugged anyone else before, especially not a cartoon pony, but I embraced her with as much gentleness as I could give. She was soft. A part of her wet with tears, but still soft. I ran one of my hands through on her mane, giving it a nice stroke. Give me a minute. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at a string. I'm like looking at the screen like nonstop here. I ran one of my hands on her mane, giving it a nice stroke, like I was lightly petting on her. I'm so sorry, Pinky, I whispered in her ear. I shouldn't have yelled at you like that. I was just so frustrated and I took it out on you. But it was my fault. No, it was my fault. I didn't tell you everything. I should have. Do you hate me? No, Pinky, I don't hate you. I don't hate any of you. I'll never yell at you like that again. I promise. She was quiet for a few seconds. Suddenly, poof! Her hair exploded back into her normal state. I separated myself from her to see that she is back to being all sunshine and happiness. Thanks for that, she said in a bouncy tone. I feel much better now. Let's go back to your place. He hopped past me. I sat there, dumbfounded by what had just happened. Those watching me had similar reactions as well. I went after her before she got too far away from me. I hear approaching sirens. Somewhere to call the cops. Shit, not again. I ran past Pinky. Come on, Pinky! I'm running out of steam. I'm running out of steam. Sorry, guys. We managed to avoid detection, much to our great luck and Pinky's incredible sneaking skills. That night, we refrained from. I'm at the final stretch, guys. Give me a second. I'm running out of steam. Whew. Sorry about this. I was a little bit on the tired edge right now. Sorry to anyone who's listening to this, and is like my friend, and who's just listening to this, and like, oh, dude, I should have joined him right now, but like, no, it's fine. If you're listening to this after the fact, then it's fine. It's just a little out of practice with reading for long periods of time without like going to eat or snacking on something at the same time. We managed to avoid detection, much to our great luck and Pinky's incredible sneaking skills. That night, we refrained from telling the others the full story of what happened at work. Just that I quit my job and have set my sights on better things. In a way, I kind of was, though I was appreciative of the pay. In terms of actually getting closer to my goal, the job was as dead end as it could be. The meal that was cooked up, much like the last one, was scrumptious. I made a mental note to remember the recipes as they cooked up for the food. Oh my god. We all gathered by the television, watching the news, hoping to see if I showed up again. To them, I had suddenly become a big time celebrity. Oh, Twilight remembered. I almost forgot to tell you. I finally have enough power to make the portal again. Thank goodness, Fluttershy said. I was getting worried. Poor Angel might be starving right now. When are we going to try it? Oh, when are we going to try it? Rainbow Dash asked. Tonight, if Matt wants me to. They all looked at me. A part of me wanted to say no and have them stay one more night. I didn't prepare a goodbye or anything. However, the way she looked at me, she seemed determined. Oh my god, a headache. I'm sorry. To try it as soon as possible. I sighed to myself. Sure, I said. Neither one of them caught on to their disappointment in my voice. Instead, they all. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry about this. Instead, they cheered happily at the chance to go back home. To celebrate for them, I corked open a bottle of wine and poured out a glass for each pony. They mentioned that they dabbled in wine every once in a while. Sorry. So I figured it wouldn't have hurt. They tasted the wine carefully. It was white wine, and the flavor was unfamiliar to them. They said they mainly drank dandelion wine, which I never tasted or even heard of for that matter. But they thought the taste was fine nevertheless. To new beginnings, I said. To new beginnings, I said, raising my glass to the ceiling. I looked over at them, realizing they could not do the same. To each other, I tapped each one of their glasses. To new beginnings! They all yelled simultaneously. Hey, look, you're on TV again, Matt. Pinky points to the television. Oh, wow, what the hell's wrong with me right now? Alright, it's almost the end, I'm sorry. We all looked to see the news report about the footage of me and Pinky in the park. There was no audio, but the footage shows me yelling at poor Pinky. The others gasped. Why were you yelling at Pinky, Matt? Rainbow Dash says, trying to get into my face. No, Rainbow, it was my fault. I accidentally got him fired from work. Pinky? No, don't get mad, you guys. It's okay, I told them. It's really fine, really. They look back at the television, and they see me lean down to hug Pinky, cheering her up. The anger that was inside them dissipated, and they watched me hold Pinky tightly, taking her tears away. Aww, they all said. I didn't know you. Oh wait. I didn't know you cared so much about us, Matt. Twilight said in admiration. Thank you. Yeah, I chuckled. Hang on. Oh, I'm really sorry. Oh, I can't stand still for too long, and it's weird for me. I chuckled as they walked away. Me neither, I whispered so no one could hear me. Alright, this is the last paragraph. After this, I'm going to end the live stream immediately. I hope you all enjoyed the story. I'm really sorry, but right now I'm a little bit on the edge. This is the first time I've done like a really long story in this succession, so I hope you all enjoyed the story, and next time I hope that I'm going to have people joining in. Midnight approached, and we were all back in Central Park 48 hours earlier. Oh, no, hang on. 48 hours earlier, I was crushed by these 6 ponies. Now I was saying goodbye to them. I'd be lying if I told you I wasn't going to miss when they were gone. I did pretty alright job at hiding my true feelings, but I think I think that they were all aware of them just by looking at me. Well, I guess this is it, I said. Well, I guess this is it, I said. Are you sure it's going to work? Positive, Twilight replied. I thought about it hard, and I believe that we are going to we'll be back in our own dimension. I only asked because you seemed hesitant yesterday. I'm being positive, just like you, he smirked. Think there might be a chance that you'll make your way back to this dimension again anytime soon? I wondered. Who knows? Probably. She looked back at the clear area ahead of her. She concentrated hard. Her home glowed a bright, brilliant purple hue. Soon the portal appeared right in front of us. It was less aggressive than a couple days ago. I figured Twilight had a better handle on it now. She looked back at me and smiled with a smile. Good luck, she said. Same to you. She was the first to go through. The others followed suit, each with their own look to me, and a different kind of goodbye. Piggy gave me a nice tight hug, while Applejack gave me one of her freshly baked pies. As the last of them went through the portal, I thought about my future and what I was going to do next. I thought about taking the writing again, trying to continue my dream of becoming a part of the movies. Now that I had the time, I could have gotten going on that super amazing screenplay. I turned to leave when smack! I hit a low-hanging branch and I stumbled backwards, holding my head in pain, and fell right into the portal. Whoops, didn't see that coming. That was chapter 1 of my new life in Equestria. I hope you guys enjoyed that first chapter. I'm really sorry that I wasn't better prepared for this. I promise that I will be, but next time I will be. So, hope you all enjoyed the video, and I will see you all in the next video. Boo!